Hello composers, Mike here, and in this video I will show you how you can go from a simple piano sketch to a complete string arrangement for your music composition. Let's dive in right now. This video is from my online course on how to write for orchestral strings. You will find a special discount if you check the video description. 1. Add the individual sounds. So as you can see, I have a piano here at the top, then I have a strings ensemble track, then I have all the separate string instruments, and I want to have them in the order of range. So the bass is at the bottom, then cellos, violas, violins 1 and violins 2. Now, as a guideline, you should use the same sample library and preset for all these different voices of the string instruments. However, I personally like to mix up and create my own unique overall sound for the string section. So as you can see here, for the basses, I have lush basses from afflatus strings. Then I have lush cellos, also afflatus strings. So those go together, but then for the violas I use minimalist violas legato, which is only 4 violas, so a more minimal sound. Chamber violins 1, another type of preset. And for the violins 2 I actually use a completely different library, second violins here. Alright, so that takes us to the next step, which is to record the harmonic progression on piano, as I have done here. Depending on your piano skills and what kind of track you compose for, you can do a easy way for recording this, just the chords, most often on each bar or 2 bars, like this. And not have any passing chords. Or go to the next level, which is to include passing chords. So a half bar here. Here, last beat here, half bar and last beat here. Or you can go all the way to actually comping, including melody and rhythm and everything. Alright, so then you have a starting point, which takes us to the next step, which is to actually connect. Let's work with this easiest, because that will be the most common, I believe. So what you want to do is connect the voices so they are kind of legato, even though a piano cannot really perform legato. So you can simply do this by dragging these notes out or using a key command in your DAW so you can actually force legato like this. Or if you have recorded a sustain pedal, which I recommend you do for chords, and when you change the chords, there is a function, at least in Logic, that you can, if I select this, convert sustain pedal to note length, and watch what happens. Voila! Now I almost got it pretty much join them together into 1 bar chords without the sustain pedal. So once that is done, when you have made these into full bar chords, you can even select them. If all are full bar, you can probably use some kind of function to set them to fixed note length as well. So fixed note length, 1 bar chord, like so, operate like that. And obviously this was supposed to be 2 bars. Step 4 is to join the voices on the full string. So first, of course, you need to copy this down here. And now for the strings, we have this. But as you have already learned, strings sound best if they actually play the long sustained note instead of just doing this rebow here. So you want to go in, and every time they connect like this, just go in and join this. So I have Command J in Logic for this. You have to check what your DAW has. Basically, every time they continue like this. Did I miss anyone? I think those were all. And a bonus tip here is that it will usually sound even more smooth if you select everything, and if I zoom in, just select everything and drag it out. Just a hint like this. Because then you will create more or less a bit of a blur, so you really get those legato transitions. I might do it even slightly further. And you can even do it like this, select everything, and then drag everything just to the back. So it's just to the right of the grid line, and just starting, every note starts just to the left of the grid line. Of course, here you need to quantize to make sure they start at the start of the region. Now we have this. So it's starting to sound pretty good already, but the real power from strings comes from when you actually go to the next step, which is to add dynamic expression. And I like to do this on the overall track first. So let's go to modulation wheel. You can, of course, record this, but just for the simplicity, let's draw in long. Since this is a slow chord progression, let's do it in 2-bar lengths like this, or let's do it like this. And then copy. I'm holding down the Option key here. And then once more, I think. And then we have some dynamic expression going on. Oh yeah, let's keep the piano. Right, so that is the main expression curve. Now you want to arrange these voices for the individual string parts. So what I do is that I simply copy it like so, several times like this. And then I simply go in and check here. I want to select only the lower notes. So you just need to do like this, but in Logic you can simply hold down Shift and arrow down to select all the lower voices. And then Shift I to invert, delete all those. And now you have the basses here. I think I actually want to have that an octave lower, that as well. You need to really make sure you cover the best range for the instrument. Right, so those are the basses. And then I can pretty much, well, to make it easy, you can delete this. If it's only going to be octaves, use the same track for the basses. Select everything and move it up an octave, and now you have the cellos. Right, then we go to the next one. Here, select the lower notes, delete them, select the lower notes again, delete them because that was the cellos. And now the lowest voice. Okay, so it's going to be these. And then remove those. And then make sure these are... Let's see if this works. Like so, so via violas, cellos and basses so far. Right? And then we get to the violins 1. Delete the lower again, delete the lower again, and now we'll see here. I'll delete the upper voices here, just to make sure that there's only one voice here. Okay, let's see what we have now. Let's mute all of these. Okay, and then finally violins 2 should be the upper voice. Let's see, did we get everything here? Invert everything else, delete, and just go in. You will pretty soon become quite fast at these kinds of things. So now we have... Right? And that gets us to the final aspect, which is to add expression and variation per track. So now you have the overall dynamics, which we got from the chords here, but now go in and actually dial in the individual expression map. And now I like to actually record something. Let's keep the basses like this. Something like that. And then go to the next one, which are the cellos. Let's start low, move up like this. You want to have different waves for everyone. Of course, if you have the time, record this with your modulation wheel to get the true human feel. Violas, I want to keep them a bit lower. Go down first, like this. And then violins 1. Let's use some heavier variation here in the dynamics. I'm not sure how this is going to sound like, but that's it. And finally, the violins 2. Let's do a little bit more faster variation here and see how that sounds. Right, something. And we have all these, if I select everything, like so. What's this note here? Let's see. Did I miss something? No, so these are playing in harmony. That you want to see, that the violins 1 and 2 or violas and violins 1, if they play in unison, you might want to move some notes down. Okay, so this is a unison. Let's see if we can play that. I'm not sure if this is going to sound right. Because this is when you want to also add some variation in the voice leading. As you can see, this is a bit of a tedious process, but that's what you want to do if you want to get really lively, dynamic and expressive strings. 8. Add more voice leading plus melody. So, of course, these were made by one-bar chords, so it will sound pretty simple. So now you can go in and actually change it. You can actually record the first violins and second violins instead. So if we remove this for now, just having these lower voices, and then select both of these and play something. Let's see, I forgot what chord we even started on here. F to B flat. Okay, so something like this. Right, so I play pretty high dynamics there just to make sure it is audible. And then you simply select it, select all, move up an octave, and now you have this leading melody instead here playing on the first and second violins. Or you might want to just go in and add some manual voice leading. So if you check this, and I recommend that you actually choose a different color for each of the voices. Let's go through them like this. And then that way, when you go in and check the voices, you can set the note color per region color. I'm sure that is a feature in most DAWs. So now I have selected everyone here, and I can check the basses here, the cellos, and now the voice leading will become much easier because I can see the first violins here. So I might want to cut that note here. and do voice leading with the second violin, stuff like that. Let's do something with this as well. So we get the harmony line there. Let's move this down an octave. And as you can see, a good thing about having the chord stack here is that you can always go in and check what the chord progression is. I even recommend that you cut this up into regions like this. So this is a special bonus tip again. And then go in, check what chord you play, either by simply watching what notes are here, if you can see the chord by that. But in Logic, you can select them and see the chord name here. So we have an F. Name it F. If there's more chords, just name it F and then let's say G, but in this case it's F. The next one, B flat, name it B flat. So name the regions, what the chords are. C. Okay, C. So this way you can always go back and check what chords are actually playing there. So we're starting in F. You might also want to go in and check the note labels like this. You can see F, F, C, F, A. Okay. Let's actually keep that on the C instead. And then you simply go through the entire progression to add some variation in voice leading like this. Okay, so I don't want a harmony here on the cello. So remove that and let's join those instead. Let's extend them just a hint more. So I know that they are in fact playing the legato transition. And then, if you're not happy with the sound, you might want to go in and actually change what the instruments you use here for the different instruments, and even go in and set the velocity, dynamic expression curve. I think this is way too high now, especially for these guys. Let's see. Okay, so too low. And then you simply go through voice by voice until you get a final result like this. Alright, so you have now seen my live demonstration of how you can go from a simple piano sketch to a complete string arrangement. Of course, you want to be more thorough and go into the nitty-gritty and details and basically perfect your string arrangement. But this quick little demonstration, I hope, have opened your eyes for the perspectives and variations you can add to all the individual strings in the string arrangement, including variation and sound coloration to get what you want for your composition. Now choose which video you are going to watch next, or you can check out the amazing bonuses in the video description.